What is going on, team, and welcome back to yet another video. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down all of last week's trades because last week was insane in terms of profit. Last week was probably one of the most profitable weeks I have had in my entire career, closing up on 10K profits in just a week's worth of trading. Now, I know a lot of you only trade Forex, and typically you will only see me place futures related content. But last week I did end up placing a few trades on Forex. So I do believe that this video is going to be beneficial to a lot of you and probably answer a few questions regarding Forex versus futures. So that is exactly why I decided to record this video. So let's get right into it. Before we hop onto the charts, let's appreciate the gains for a little moment. We've been smashing the workouts recently, and I hope all of you are doing the exact same. Always make sure that health is the #1 priority, okay? Without health, you do not have any business. A business is a straight reflection of the person running it. So if you're not taking care of your temple, how do you expect your business to do well? Now, with the Day in the Life video, I did include a little bit of my workout. If that is of any interest to any of y'all, just let me know in the comment section, and I will start doing those more regularly. Now, let's get on to the chart.
All right, here we are on the charts. I am in replay mode, and I am at last week's Monday, which was the 1st of April, okay? Now, right here is exactly when I placed my first trade. Now, let's quickly talk about what time it is here. This huge candle is the New York Stock Exchange opening, 9:30, okay? Now, go into a 5-minute time frame here. We can see that this entire move obviously happened with the 9:30 opening bell. And I have talked about this previously in a lot of my videos. The opening bell is typically a Judas swing, meaning that it is a manipulation move to whatever direction it is going in. Obviously, this one went higher. So I expected this entire move to be manipulation, and I was waiting for the distribution move to send us lower. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I primarily trade the turtle soup, meaning that I sell the highs and I buy the lows, right? This one was a little bit different though. So essentially what happened was we formed an SMT here with the S&P 500, meaning that the NASDAQ swept the high and the S&P 500 failed to sweep the high. Now, for high probability setups, you want to include an SMT. All the great moves and big moves has an SMT behind it, okay? So that is exactly what I wanted to see happen here, and that is exactly what we got. Now, with this candle closure, that is exactly when I entered my short position. So it looked like this. My entry was here. Stop was at this high up here. Now, let me tell you why my stop was this high here. Because if we end up going back to this high after a candle closure like this on a 5-minute chart, the SMT that we formed here is probably not going to hold, right? And then the idea that I entered off of is invalidated. So this was my entry, and my full take profit was down here. I took partials along the way, going for a 4.4R, and this is what it looked like. Obviously, very, very beautiful trade. This is also an ICT turtle soup, just with an SMT included. Those are typically going to be your highest probability turtle soup when they have an SMT included. But you want to know exactly when you should look for these SMTs. And obviously, this right here was not random, right? I am not just going to enter off of any SMT I see. The reason why I was very, very confident in this play was obviously because of that 9:30 opening bell that went higher. I say this all the time. The 9:30 is a manipulation move 90% of the time. So this huge move up, I knew was fake, okay? This move here, I was extremely confident was fake, or yeah, again, the manipulation, and I wanted to see the distribution come alongside that SMT, which is exactly what happened, and that was all for Monday last week. So here we are, the 2nd of April, Tuesday of last week, and this day I actually took a losing trade, which is completely fine. Of course, having that 4.4R trade on Monday, I'm completely fine with taking a loss the next day, right? But essentially what I wanted to see happen was this entire consolidation to be the accumulation stage of a power of 3. Now, if you're unfamiliar with a power of 3, essentially what we want to see is the first stage being accumulation, meaning that we chop up, engineering buy side and sell side liquidity. Then we have the manipulation move that goes lower, sweeps either the sell side or the buy side. In this case, sell side liquidity, and then the distribution move higher, right? All of this combined with the equal highs that we formed here, I really expected this to be power of 3, and I was going to enter on the manipulation of this move. So essentially what happened, my entry was here, my stop was a bit below this low, because if we go all the way down here, my idea is kind of invalidated. My target was all the way up here. So I went for a 5.1R, which was a little bit ballsy. But again, I lowered my risk because it was placed at 6:30, which is not an ideal time to be trading within. Ideally, I only trade between 2 to 5 a.m. and then from 9:30 till 11:30 and then from 1:30 till 4. Those are my regular time windows where I actively look for a trade at my computer. This one obviously did not meet that criteria, so my leverage was lowered. And as you can see, I was just completely wrong and I got smashed, right? So that was a -1R on that trade, which is completely fine with that 4.4R winner the day before. So here we are, Wednesday, the 3rd of April, where I actually took a few trades, and this was a huge winning day for me. So let's go over the first trade, which was placed on EU. So essentially on EU and GU, I was bullish just because I was extremely bearish on the DXY after we finished the market maker buy model on the higher time frame, which I also called out in my Discord. So once that finished, I expected lower prices, which is exactly what we ended up getting. That automatically made me bullish on quote currency USD pairs like Euro USD and GBP USD. So coming into this day, I wanted to see this low get taken and this low to act as turtle soup. Now, obviously, we have a small swing low here that just barely tapped this 5-minute imbalance, and that is kind of what I was looking for my entry. So that was my entry. This very low combined with this 5-minute fair value gap. Obviously, we have this low also acting as sell side liquidity. And if we take out our optimal trade entry tool here, this is also in optimal trade entry, right? Which is just ideal for any trades. So that was the thought process behind this trade. Now let's play it out and let me show you what happened. So as you can see, it was very, very ballsy of me to stay inside of this trade with this huge move down. But I was still very confident that these highs were going to get hit as there was no SMT with DXY or GU. This was the EU trade that I placed on Wednesday. Obviously extremely successful with very, very minimal drawdown. So that was another 3.87R. Now a little bit later, I took my second trade of the day on GU, which was placed at 6:14, or a little bit prior to that, it was placed at 6:08, right? And again, I placed my trade off of this 2-minute imbalance, which we have down here. And with that imbalance came this low right above it, right? So we have sell side liquidity right above a gap, which is exactly what I want to see. We have a gap below it, and my drawn liquidity is higher, right? Then we obviously had a bit of a lower time frame consolidation here, forming an order block, right? I have told you this before on this channel. Fair value gaps are high probability when combined with order blocks, and order blocks are high probability when combined with fair value gaps. So that is exactly what happened here. All of this combined with the optimal trade entry, and also obviously being in discount and having that higher drawn liquidity. So that was my entry right here. My stop loss was at this low and my take profit was at the previous high. So this was a 3.25R. Now let me play it out for you and let me show you exactly what happened. So this was a bit of a longer trade. We consolidated for a while because of the time. Not really ideal to be entering positions at 6 a.m., which I just told you before, although it is a little bit better when you are trading GBP pairs. So yeah, this was a great trade overall, just a bit of chop and eventually TP, which was very, very nice. We came back to my entry twice, but of course I stayed throughout the entire position. And what I typically do when I put on longer positions like this one, where I expect it to take quite a while to hit TP, I typically will walk away from my charts as soon as I have placed this trade, because that way I avoid taking it off when stuff like this happens, right? Because if I was at my screen, easily I could have taken the trade off as soon as we came back here or as soon as we came back here. But by walking away, I immediately eliminate that option. So that was it for Wednesday. Now let me show you Thursday, which was even better than Wednesday. Now again, Thursday, we are on GU, the 1 hour time frame, a bit of a longer trade once again. You will often see me place longer trades on Forex than I will typically do on futures, just because I'm able to. With futures firms, I am required to close my positions at market close, but with Forex prop firms, I am able to hold the trades basically as long as I want. So of course I take advantage of that and I try to place longer trades just because I'm not able to do that with futures. So essentially what I saw here on GU was that we had this high and we had this high, which obviously had not been touched yet. So as soon as we hit the last of these equal highs, which was obviously this high, I was interested in going short. Now, obviously we have this high here, which is a high that we formed inside of this GU 1 hour gap, right? And if I actually draw this out, you're able to see that this high made inside of the hourly gap failed to hit the constant encroachment of that gap, right? So I have buy side liquidity inside an hourly imbalance that failed to hit the constant encroachment of the gap. So that was actually my exact entry, was the constant encroachment of the gap, and my take profit was a bit before the constant encroachment of the 4 hour gap. So somewhere around here, I'm not exactly sure. I just checked to make sure, and this was the exact take profit. Okay, so this was the trade on GU. Now let me show you how accurate this trade actually was, and let me play it out. So there we go. This is on a 15-minute time frame. So obviously this trade was very, very long too, way longer than I typically will ever place, but nonetheless an extremely successful trade here on GU. Now with futures, I will never do partials, but with Forex, because I'm holding for such a long period of time, I am taking partials just to make sure that I earn a few bucks along the way. So here we are, Thursday again, only this time it's on GJ, and my trade was actually based off of this low here. Now my stop loss for this trade was a little bit larger than normal just because I wasn't as confident. And that means it was below this low right here, okay? Because if we go all the way down here, this gap is likely violated and my idea is completely wrong. This was the full take profit, so a 1.99R, which I'm perfectly happy about. And I'm going to show you now exactly what ended up happening. So as you can see, we hit TP fairly fast. Obviously I would have liked to see that happen as we got this extremely bullish candle here after hitting the low that I was referring to and entered off of. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We had to come a little bit deeper down into drawdown, but nonetheless we hit TP. Now for the technical part of this trade, we have a low here that we did not sweep. Then we had a low right here that we did not sweep. Again, a low that failed to hit the constant encroachment of this 5-minute gap here. So that was ultimately why I decided to enter here. As you will see, a lot of these trades have a lot in common. That's just how I trade. We go to a 1 hour time frame. All of this aligns very well with an hourly order block here and an hourly order block here, right? That is kind of protecting my stop loss, if you will. So that was the technical behind this trade, and obviously that played out very well. And as you can see, my entry and the lows were in discount, which is obviously what we want, right? We want to be buying down here and selling up here. So that was the technical part of this trade. Let's jump to the next one. So this trade right here was placed on Friday the 5th of April, last trade of the week, and this is probably the saddest trade that I've had in a very, very long time. So this was actually the trade, very tight stop on this, a little bit above the order block all the way to the left here, and then my take profit was the swing low right here. Okay, simply because I was not confident enough to hold it all the way down till this low. Let me show you exactly what happened here. Now obviously I expected this high to act as turtle soup, and I wanted to see a rally lower after sweeping this high. Now let me show you what happened. So obviously we get an immediate reaction here and we are just dumping down lower, right? We hit my first take profit, which was here. I only had one take profit on this trade, or actually it was two. This was the first one, this was the second one, right? So we hit the first take profit. I took my partials, which was very, very lucky, because let me show you what happened next here. We get a pullback a bit further up, no big deal. We drop back down lower again. Now let me show you here. Then that happened and we get a reversal straight back to my entry, and I was out break even, which obviously happens, but it's just extremely unfortunate and unlucky. We were 0.5 pips away from full take profit, but that's not the worst part. Let me show you what happened right after. At 8:30 with news, of course, so obviously it would have been a gamble to hold it through. So of course I did not. I canceled it as soon as we came back to the entry. Nonetheless, very unfortunate. Partials were taken though, so a slight gain on this trade. Nothing too crazy, but a decent way to end the week. And that was all for last week. The reason why the majority of my trades were placed on Forex is because I'm waiting for a payout on all my futures accounts. So I am simply just not trading those until that payout arrives. But extremely successful week here on Forex, taking into consideration that I haven't really been looking a lot at the Forex market for about 2.5 years. So really happy with the outcome of this. And I hope this video helped some of you out. I know a lot of you trade Forex. I get a lot of DMs asking me if my stuff works on Forex. And obviously, as you can see, it works completely fine. If you're interested in joining my community, the Discord link will be in the description of this video, where I post my daily outlooks, my weekly outlooks, my trade breakdowns, my executions, and all this other stuff. It is completely free. Although I am releasing my premium Discord later this week, I should be moving into my office at the end of this week. If the internet that I ordered or the Wi-Fi that I ordered can't arrive in time, the Discord should go live at the end of this week. Obviously, that's the premium version, and that will come with daily live trading, one-to-one sessions, Sunday charting sessions, and a lot more. But for now, go ahead and join the free one in the description, and I will see you in there. Bye-bye.